Then we're also starting live.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're live.
That's cool.
Good morning to everyone. Good morning to the listeners and viewers of Freelance Blend. This is Marv De Leon. We have another special interview today. This lovely
Listeners and viewers
yes, listeners
of
and viewers.
Freelance Blend. This is Marv De Leon. We
Okay,
have another special
there's a delay. Okay,
today.
I'm sorry about that.
This
We're streaming live via Facebook and also via YouTube. In YouTube, medyo may delay. That's why you heard kanina yung voice ko. Anyway, again, we're here to interview a person I met a few weeks ago when I went to Baguio for my talk for Film Life, and they invited me to come over to their newest co-working space. In fact, the first co-working space in Baguio City, and I saw their place. It's very interesting, very ang ganda nga ng kanilang co-working space. It's an old house converted into a co-working space, and ang daming people inside working there. I think companies there who are renting, and maganda kasi they're giving employment to the people of Baguio. You don't need to go to Manila to find work. There's already work for them in Baguio City, and that's why I asked the founder of that co-working space, which is Calle Uno, to share his story. And we have him here right now, Mr. Ace Estrada, the founder of Calle Uno. Good morning, Ace.
Good morning, Marv. How are you this morning?
Good. So, kamusta ang ating climate dyan sa Baguio? When I was there, it's about, I think, 16, 17 degrees kasi umuulan at that time.
Yes.
So, kamusta ngayon ang weather natin dyan?
Well, the weather could not be more beautiful today. Lumabas ang araw after 2 weeks, and everyone's walking and driving around, and very normal, very beautiful day in Baguio City. Best time for a podcast.
Yes. Yeah, nakakainggit. I spent just overnight kulang yung oras, and kaya I passed by your place while I was on my way back to Manila, so talagang napakaiksi ng oras, but thank you for inviting me to your place, to Calle Uno. You gave me a tour, and it's kung ako mag-work sa Baguio, I'd love to go there to do my online stuff. Now, before I talked about yung Calle Uno and how wonderful your business is, giving opportunities to the people of Baguio. Can you talk more about how you started muna? What's your background before you put up this co-working space?
Oh, thank you. It's a good question, actually. We started the business in Baguio in 2006. We were actually the first online English teaching school in Baguio. That was like 10 years ago. And then over the years, we built up a company. We've grown, and we've seen teachers go. Mainly, yung ISPs have become better over time, and opportunities have become better over time. And yung mga teachers naman, they're moving home to become home-based teachers, find clients and students of their own. Now, we both wish them well, but also we're kind of sad to see teachers go. So the idea is that what if we provided a space for teachers to work, not as regular employees, but as a place for them to do what they're doing online. Pwedeng nag-work sila as call center agents or as teachers. So Kalyon is merely the vehicle for them to do what they should be doing at home with backup generators, with a good connection, and of course the social aspect.
So, you started it talaga. The business was really uh,
Traditional, yes.
traditional na pero yung school for teaching English for
Mm,
teachers,
yes.
ang clients niyan mga foreigners, I assume mga Japanese. Is that
Japanese, Chinese, and Koreans. So traditional,
oh,
we were an employer and they were employees. Um,
mm,
no longer the case at Calle Uno. They come here and they create opportunities for themselves with a good connection and with a network of people around them.
mhm. So parang you started as a school. Is it also there in that place in Cali Uno or
No, it's a separate building altogether. So Calle
uh
Uno is independent of that.
yeah. So parang you were training them to be home-based English teachers.
Yes.
That's why they eventually moved after getting your training, they
Mhm.
moved back home to work. Kaya lang
Mhm.
because of the maybe intermittent internet connection and power
Mhm.
supply, that's why
That's right.
we thought of creating this space. Pero in between, that was 10 years ago, in between 2006 and so that was it your first venture? Were you always
Yes.
an entrepreneur?
We've always been. Yeah, there's a term, I don't want to use it, but that's so true for me. I can think of myself as a serial entrepreneur. I've had more businesses that failed than succeeded, but that's the whole idea and the whole lesson that I'm teaching to people. Should they care to listen, never be
Mhm.
afraid to try out an idea. Who knows, it might work out.
Mhm. So, right after college, talagang business na ano yung mga first ventures mo if you don't mind sharing?
Well, in college, I built computers and then sold them. Uh, it's anyone was doing it. You buy it from Green Hills and then you sell a computer for a profit. What I did was that I created a value around the computer. Pagka-deliver, there's a teaching component that would last for 6 months. And then over time, dadagdagan mo ng printer and all that. The lesson I learned from my businesses, I went into printing, trucking, computer shop. Uh, is you always have to add value to anything you sell to set you
Mhm.
apart from everyone else.
Mhm. Okay. Were you always in Baguio? I mean, did you study in Baguio and
Mm.
graduated from a school in Baguio and talagang worked there?
Well, I've lived in Baguio for most of my life, but I did study in Manila. I'm
Mhm.
and then moved back to Baguio for work, and well, there is the best place to be, I think, for me.
Mhm. Why is that? What's in Baguio? Because people
Mm.
think of Baguio City as a getaway, a vacation place, the
Mhm.
summer capital. But I know I have a few friends who work there kasi
Mhm.
may mga tech companies based there. I think Texas Instruments, right?
Yes, it's here.
And they've stayed there for the longest time. Tapos recently lang siya bumalik. So right
Mhm.
after college then. Tapos he worked there for many years and then he came back recently lang. So
Mhm.
yeah, why Baguio?
Well, this is where the talent is. It's a whole new place for industry and for startups. Um, I have figures. Hindi mo na itatanong, I happen to be the president of the Benguet ICT Council, and
Mhm.
the figures for Baguio are very promising. Ika nga, when we did our last Cap Dev with the DICT, they said that there's no reason for Baguio to fail, except for the one sad fact na walang airport. Uh, Everything is here
Oh, yeah.
to create business. 40,000 students graduate from Baguio. Of these 40,000, 10,000 are IT students. It's a melting pot of people from all around the Philippines. So when these graduates finish college, they sadly they go to Manila to look for jobs. So
Mhm.
putting up a business in Baguio, a co-working space, a startup in Baguio is really the most practical way to do it. You are building, if this is fish, you're building a cannery at the source. So
Mhm.
makes a lot of sense, I think.
Mhm. Wow, so those are big numbers. So that's 40,000 students a year ang graduate, and
Yes,
then one-fourth are in IT.
are in IT. So
Uh,
those are fantastic numbers for anyone who would like to create a startup
mhm.
company in Baguio.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's really promising figures. Pero out of the 10,000, would you know how many stay and how many leave?
Well, it's more, the question really is not about the numbers, but the quality of the people that of these students. Sadly, I would think that a huge number of these graduates are not really IT practitioners.
Mm.
Requires more training, requires more opportunity. So um, when you get this talent, yes, they are IT inclined, but to really um, make them contribute to your company, you would have to invest in training, which is very good
Mm.
too. Which is very good.
Mm. Mm. And why do you think yung mga tech companies are in Baguio? Is there marami ba?
Mm,
Texas Instruments lang ang alam ko, but are there more moving to Baguio? Is it
Well,
yun nga, you mentioned walang airport. Isn't it
mm,
hard for them to what makes them stay there?
there's small gear and there's Texas Instruments. More importantly, it's a call center. Nandito ang Cytel, nandito ang Convergys, IHG, Teleperformance.
Mhm.
Baguio is the go-to place now. Um, there's a lot of there's a rich English-speaking talent pool here in Baguio. So these companies go here for that reason.
Mhm. Yeah. Is it also because marami Americans before in Baguio? That's why people are better uh, English speakers. Would you say that? Can you say that's the case?
Um, Maraming mga marunong na mag-English na nag-aaral dito. And if
Uh-huh.
they had the opportunity to stay in Baguio and work here, they would. Ilocano is a beautiful language. It lends itself very well to speaking English. So,
Oh, okay.
and if you go into the deep mountains of Kalinga Mountain Province, people there speak English, the old people. And it's so surprising,
Uh,
talaga.
uh-huh.
So they speak English here almost very naturally. Like, let's say, to name Ilonggo, that's a wonderful dialect that lends itself to English.
Yeah. Mhm. And siguro rin since it's the summer capital nga and maraming
Mm.
tourists all year round,
Yes,
that's why
yes,
sanay na rin mag-English ang mga tao.
yes,
So
that's
it's
true.
not just the IT yung graduates, but also the English speaking. That's why
Mm-hmm.
call center jobs are also available in
Mm-hmm.
the city.
Mm-hmm. But a very interesting figure is that yung mga voice component ngayon ng BPOs is really on the wane, pababa na, and
Yeah.
mag-overtake na siya soon ng non-voice services.
Mhm.
Programming, back office service. This non-voice accounts are gonna overtake revenues for voice accounts,
Mhm.
which is a very good thing. It opens up opportunities not just for English speakers, but for accountants, for people so inclined to work in non-voice industry.
Mhm. Yeah, maybe ano rin kasi maybe because of automation na
Yes, that's right.
companies are wala na talagang even for mga uh, software as a service na I
Yeah.
use. For example,
Yes.
you don't really chat na. You don't really need to speak directly to a customer service person. I mean,
Yeah.
minsan email na, you have to wait
Mm-hmm.
for an email response. So maybe at least we are adapting to the needs of the market.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Um, what about are there many? Ace Estradas in Baguio. I mean, entrepreneurial um, guys there, like mga millennials natin, are there? Kasi nga, you mentioned it's mostly
Yes.
mga IT jobs and call center jobs. But what about entrepreneurship?
Oh, it's
What's
my
the
wish that, yes, it is my wish that maraming mga entrepreneurial spirits in Baguio. We're starting to see it happen. As you know, Calle Uno is it's like I don't know. There's a term called suntok sa buwan. No one has really put up a co-working space in Baguio, and the people I spoke to, sort of a feasibility study, said, "Oh, it's not gonna work, mainly because it's never been done before." So, but people are coming in now. They're starting to see co-working as a necessity, and we've built up our membership slowly over the past 1 month we've opened. So right now we have 15 members now who call this place their home, their office.
Okay, so we're talking about now Calle Uno. So you formed that initially nga because you wanted a place for yung mga English teachers to work. So you put it up 1 month pa lang ba officially?
1 month, yes. Not just for English speaker teachers, but for
Initially.
yes. It's like una the challenge was for them to see, for people to see Calle Uno as more than a glorified computer shop, and then beyond it, more than a glorified Starbucks. While we have good coffee, and nothing is better than free coffee, I might add. We have fast internet. We're starting to educate people to see this place not as a coffee shop or as a computer shop, but as a place to find opportunity, to find jobs. Ganon. So, in my readings about co-working, there's a term, a very beautiful term. It's called collisions. Now, collisions are chance encounters between members. Nakita kayo sa hagdanan, umupo kayo together one day at a table, and you start talking. And you say, ano ginagawa mo? Etong ginagawa ko. And you start having ideas, exchange of ideas. Ideas that will later become business ideas. Those are called collisions.
Well, similar to our encounter, it's
Yes.
like a collision then, di ba?
Exactly.
And we did it because of Calle Uno.
Yes.
Yeah.
You never know what you're gonna get pag nagkaroon ng collision. It may not work out now, but later on you'll remember, oh, I had this conversation with this guy. I'll call him. He can help me here. Ganon.
Yeah. So, yun, sino yung mga pumupunta sa Calle Uno? So, I was there. I saw a lot of people, young people there. So, apart from, you said nga about, apart from being a glorified coffee shop, so what other benefits does working in Calle Uno give?
What else can you do here? Where we have the space, I think our advantage over other co-working spaces, comparative sa Manila, is we have a lot of space. We have a quadrangle, and we're gonna open soon. So the very first Volkswagen Combi food park in Baguio. So apat na Combi vans with food. Yes. Hindi ko nabanggit sa yan when you visited us last time.
Parang food truck. Parang food truck.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay.
There's a very famous place called Ketchup Food Community.
I like that. I've been there, and
You've been there. Yes. This is the real version of that. So merely entrepreneurs, members din ng Calle Uno, who we enjoy to bring in old vans, paint them in very playful colors, and then serve food, comfort food, hamburgers, coffee, ganon. And people sit in front of the arches or go up to Calle Uno and do their work. So that's an attraction in itself.
Yeah, kasi you have a fairly large parking space. So I imagine dun mo lalagay yung mga trucks.
We have a parking space, yes.
So will the vans be available every day?
Yes, there's the inspiration is coming from something called the yard. So it will be
Oh.
open almost 24 hours, and then there'll be strings of beautiful lights overhead. Tapos you'd sit on the grass or under the tree and then have dinner around the food trucks. So
Mhm.
that's a new Baguio experience. We're hoping that people find it and then they come to Calle Uno because of it. So
Mhm. Yeah.
mm,
Um, I, I mentioned earlier when I visited, I saw yung sa ground floor, yung maraming people working there.
yes,
So you've opened also Calle Uno for business to rent and to
yes.
yung wala siguro offices. Talk more about that siguro
Mhm.
how businesses are working with Calle Uno to provide
Mm.
employment and a space for the people of Baguio.
Mhm. A very small office near the center of town would cost you a minimum of 15,000, and that excludes power and internet and utilities. A seat at
Mhm.
Calle Uno, using the whole facilities with free coffee, conference room, meeting rooms, internet, is just 5,000. That's the cost of membership.
Mhm.
Slowly, solopreneurs, there's a term called solopreneur, and small businesses are finding Calle Uno, inquiring, can we work there? What can we get? So I say 5,000, you get everything you need to run your business. So that's what we're doing now. We have three, four, five businesses have moved recently to Calle Uno for that reason.
Mhm. Okay, so it's just 5,000 flat.
Yes,
Do
yes, I
they
know.
do you also charge per employee per head?
For if you're a bigger company beyond 15, we would charge less than about 4,000 per head. So
Mhm.
again, it still makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
The employees get to work anywhere. They can work in any of the spaces, in any of the conference rooms, and still get work done.
Yeah.
So
And kasama na dun yung utilities. I mean, you don't need
yes,
to pay for the utilities. So I
no,
think it's really very economical for
yes,
especially for startups.
yes, and free flowing coffee. Benguet coffee is plentiful here and relatively cheap, so we make it available 24/7.
Yeah, I miss Benguet coffee. I ran out of Benguet coffee when we bought from the yung sa palengke. So yeah,
I
I
should
hope to
send
be
you.
back again.
Okay. We're having a good
Now,
conversation, no?
I'm sorry.
We're having a good conversation, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Kulang na lang kape.
Okay.
Siguro parang we're taking them on a tour to your place. So we talked about the ground floor. So you took me to
Yes.
the second floor
Yes.
where there are parang mga smaller training rooms and
Mm.
pinakita mo sa akin yung isang person teaching students. So talk about that naman. You train them for what?
Um, Mainly, I don't really do the training, but it's a training facility for anyone who has something to teach. Anyone who has a voice.
Mhm.
I'd like to share with you what we're trying to get TED Talks into Calle Uno,
Mhm.
a franchise. So this becomes a TED Talk center. So
Okay.
I asked you before the one of the reasons I contacted you was on Facebook. I saw your event page for
Yeah.
Azalea, and I said, "What are you doing there?" Anong tinuturo mo? Then when we
Uh,
met, one of my first questions to you is, "Can you teach people what you're teaching here at Calle Uno?" So
yes.
I ask people to teach not for my benefit, but for the benefit of teaching and learning from each other, and perhaps that would create collisions, which is really the
Mhm.
currency at Calle Uno, these collisions.
Mhm. And I think the room that I visited there, they were
Mm.
training uh, students to become employees. Am I correct? You mentioned about that.
Mm. I can't quite remember kung ano yung nangyayari doon, but we have training for call center BPO. I think that
Mhm.
was this is what you saw.
Yeah, uh-huh.
So
And you mentioned you have parang an arrangement with a group
mhm.
na they send in students and they have guaranteed employment. So, can you talk more about that? Kasi baka we have listeners
Mhm.
who are interested and they can find out more by visiting your place. So,
Ah, I
yeah.
see. Um, we have a program because we're like sister companies with another company called Vivix Academy, and
Mhm.
we train for free people who would wish to go into the BPO industry, Sitel and Converges. So we train them for free. Other companies charge, we don't, and then we guarantee a passing rate of
Mhm.
so you go do the interviews with Sitel, and if you pass, that's good. If you don't, come back, and then we'll look at your areas of improvement, and then we'll train you again. So
Mhm.
as long as you are willing to undergo training, we won't give up on you. So this is one of our trusts at the academy and at Calle Uno.
Mhm. Okay, so yun nga, for students, they don't need to pay anything. It's the
No, no.
company that shoulders that the training.
Yes, the company pays for every student they take or every trainee that they take, but we guarantee a 90-day replacement policy. So
Mhm.
at any time, kung that person who we endorse to Cytel, for example, quits within 90 days, then we have an obligation to replace with another
Mhm.
person.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but how does Cytel normally uh, hire employees? They go directly to the office or they
mm,
have training or hiring centers?
they
So
have
what's
something,
different?
yes. Mm,
Uh-huh. Pero okay, if they go through another training center or they need to pay.
yes, exactly. There are training centers in Baguio that charge them for the same training we give. So sa amin,
Mhm.
we give it free.
Mhm. Okay, that's good. I hope we have people in the area listening who don't know about this opportunity na sana they get to visit you to learn more.
Yes,
You mentioned
of
about
course.
TED Talks. Is it
Yes,
so you're officially this is officially the TED Talks franchise that you're um, communicating with and where
yes,
what's the possibility of having because I'm not sure I think they have in UP yung TEDx
yes,
maybe
yes.
but for TED Talks I'm not sure if there's one in Manila so
Mhm.
when do we expect this TED Talks in your in Calle Uno.
Hopefully soon. Well, we're talking about the TED Talks franchise. So they asked us to submit three of the topics of expertise that we would like to present. So, of course, naturally, we said entrepreneurship. That's one. Uh, and then we're waiting. I am very optimistic would happen. So we would advertise this as soon as it comes out. But right now, the space is really being used for different talks.
Mm-hmm.
There's a company, a new member called ICPA. I can
Mm-hmm.
pass anything, and um,
Okay.
it's beautiful. Kasi
It's a
what they
nice
do is,
name. I can pass anything.
and
Yeah.
ICPA, akala mo Institute for
Akala ko
Certified
it's
Public Accountants.
oh
Yes.
yeah, yeah. So what's it
And
about?
wow, nakakabilib. It's one of its movers is his name is Carlo Tablizo. He's active in the startup ecosystem, and
Mm-hmm.
he's giving away free reviews for any course. So CPA accounting, so review courses. So he makes the space available to them. There are regular talks here, and their membership is a organizational membership, meaning they're not paying for one person, but for any person who is a member of their ICPA organization to come here, work for free. So, pabalit-palit yung persons who work here from ICPA every day. He makes it available to them, and he's Manila based.
Okay. It's
Mm-mm.
Manila based.
Manila
So,
based.
I can pass anything. Pero this is ano lang, I mean, accounting review.
Well, I think he
O
has accounting review. Another company naman is using the space for medtech review, but not for the board, but for the prelim, midterm, and final exams.
uh
So, yun ang
Pero this is
kanyang
not under ICPA na.
iba naman na to. So, I'm
Mhm.
like going through the roster of members who are using this space as a venue, as a venue. Um,
Mhm.
of course, there are
Yeah.
regular hackathons happening here now. Tapos, maraming mga writing workshops happening. We have writing workshops. We've had a yoga class during our co-working week. So we have the space for yoga. Ano
Mhm.
pa? Film showing. We have a very well-equipped audio-visual room. So
Uh-huh.
film showings. So,
Mhm.
pretty
Wow,
much
so ang dami,
anything. Maraming
yeah,
pwedeng gawin.
daming nangyayari na,
Yes.
and you just opened barely, ayun, or a month, di ba?
Mm-mm. We're trying to find our niche, but we actually found out that it could be anything you want.
Mhm.
I see BA. I can be anything. Do you
Yeah.
know that I see BA? We've signed a MOA with the then DOST, now DICT, for
Mhm.
a Tech for Ed Center at Calle Uno. So
Mhm.
a Tech for Ed Center is mainly a free access to computers, and then they can access the DICT's Tech for Ed website to do courses, online courses. So
Mhm.
it's like an online school, and people are free to come here and use the computers. Walang
Okay.
bayad. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Kamusta ba yung internet connection sa, well, I'm sure you have fast, pero for regular yung mga houses around Baguio City, kamusta naman yung speed ng internet? Well, ako, when I was in the hotel, medyo okay naman. But
mhm,
for yung mga regular connections,
mhm.
is it not like in Manila? That's why people are really encouraged to go to Calle Uno.
Mhm. Well, for one, the connections in Baguio are pretty much like Manila, except for one crucial difference: the terrain, mabundok. So
Oh,
it
yeah.
just takes very little, and the weather. It takes very little for these connections to go down because of the inclement weather in Baguio. So Kaya Uno's internet is very fast. It's a 300 meg connection, and 300 meg, yes. So I've never had anyone
100
complaining.
times than mine.
Yes, thank you, PLDT.
Not a sponsor.
They'd be doing a booth in our grand opening on September 18, by the way, PLDT.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned it. Well, before you mentioned your grand opening, I'd like, for those who just joined us, we're talking to Ace Estrada of Calle Uno in Baguio City. If you have questions, just message me in Facebook or in YouTube. And or this will be available naman as a podcast and as a YouTube video, so you can watch the replay and send me your questions after. Then if you won't be able to ask your questions now, and we'll forward that to Ace. So we're about to wrap up. Sorry, yun nga, it's really very parang light conversation, and I know you're a busy person. That's why we won't take much of your time. We learned a lot about your city and also your co-working space that I really love. Sabi ko nga, para siyang may pagka IKEA yung mga yung tables. Mahilig ako sa wood, so maraming wood. We'll show pictures. You sent me pictures.
I
We'll show
did, I did.
pictures.
Yes.
We'll show pictures in the blog. So you mentioned about your launch.
Yes.
Can you talk about your launch and invite our viewers and listeners to
Mhm.
visit you?
You're very welcome. You're invited to come to our lunch on September 18. We're gonna do it on Sunday, and it's gonna be big. We've invited foremost speakers to speak to us and inspire us. We have Jay Fajardo of Launch Garage and Proud Cloud, and then we have Magipo of Caliber, and then we have Joji Azurin of Horsepower.
Okay, Georgie.
Joji is joining us, yes. And also we have Norlin Sunga of NRS and Dexter Paglinawan, an author of Awesome Ass Marketing. So ang thrust ng opening is really how to launch your startup in 24 hours. So first we'll start by asking our speakers, one of them to talk about what a startup is. Next, how to find funding for your startup. And then next is tips and tricks for success. And then sa dulo, startup stories. Stories kung paano nag-succeed and made big. And so in between would be corporate sponsors talking about their products, giveaways. So there'd be a job fair in the quadrangle and food bazaar. So it's gonna be a major event happening right now in Baguio. So more than the launching of a very innovative business, we see this as the Baguio's first experience to the twin models of co-working and collaboration. So come here. Internet is free.
When is that? You mentioned the date?
September 18 on September 18, Sunday.
Okay. So you're open, I believe, 24/7, right?
We're open 24/7. Yes, that's right.
Okay. So, before we go, your final message, and then again, tell them how they can reach you and how they can find Calle Uno.
Well, thank you. First, I'd like to say thank you for having me here. And I do hope to see you again in the coming days. So everyone who's listening, we're a Calle Uno co-working collaborative space in Baguio. We're located in the corner of Nagilan Road and First Road in Quezon Hill. My email is acestrada@calleuno.ph, or you could send me a text to reserve 0917-501-7787. Thank you.
And also your website so that people can see pictures also.
Yes, it's calleuno.ph.
Yeah. Are the details about the launch in the website also so that people can find out more about the launch on September 18?
Yes, it's all in the website. Please come. We're expecting anywhere between 200 to 600 people. So,
wow.
Daming collisions, daming collisions. Explosion to.
Yeah. Oo nga. Baka uminit sa Baguio City.
Hopefully. Happy problem.
People from Manila and other nearby areas will be joining you there. I unfortunately I won't be able. I'm very sorry, but I'd love to be there, and I'm sure I'll see you soon. Thank you again for sharing with us your time and your knowledge and experience. And I really hope to see you very soon, Ace. Thank you, Ace.
Thank you, Marv. Have a good day today.
Yeah, you too. Happy weekend. I'll call you after to talk about what we talked about before. So I'll call you. So for now, bye. And to our listeners and viewers, thank you for joining us.
Thank
Happy
you.
weekend, everyone. Bye.
Bye.